What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 4040 Vision podcast. I am your host, Khaled Abdallah, and I'm joined today by my co host, Sulman Haque. Today is April 21st, so we're a couple days away from the 2025 NFL Draft, and Sulman and I wanted to do a full first round mock. So, just to keep things simple, we're not going to do any trades. I know it's not very realistic because I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams moving up and down, but just to keep things simple, we're going to do straight up, no trades. Soman will be picking the odd teams. This is so he could pick for his Niners at pick 11, I think, or 13. And I'll be
11.
picking the 11. There you go. And I'll be picking the evens so I could pick for my Raiders at number 6. And we'll just go through the first round. Let us know what you guys think of the picks. We'll be sharing some small social clips from each of the picks that we make. We'll just make the pick, talk about it a little bit, kind of our justification, and of course we'll discuss each of these picks. So, without further ado, this is where you would hear the jingle before the pick on ESPN or NFL Network or whatever. But Salman, go ahead, man. You get the first overall pick for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer call. They got to go Cam Ward, right? Like they can't. I don't see how they have any other option. Like how they could go any other way. Cam Ward seems like the best quarterback in this class. Who knows? Maybe, but I think I would say his like ceiling to me is like Josh Allen type, right? He can be franchise quarterback. He's a big guy, big body dude, can run, can drop dimes. That's his ceiling to me. Floor, if we're talking about floor, yeah, I mean his floor could be like Aaron Brooks, right? Like that could be his floor. So not like terrible, like not a complete bust, but maybe just a serviceable starting quarterback. So that's where I see Cam Ward. So relatively safe pick, and Will Levis is not the guy, so Cam Ward it is.
Yeah, Will Levis is probably not on the team by the end of the weekend. Uh, yeah, no brainer. I think he's the. It's kind of crazy because I think he was gonna come out last year and chose to come back for another season. He probably would not have been a first round pick last year with all the other quarterbacks, so he obviously made the right decision. And it just seems like all the signs point to him going to Tennessee. So no argument there. So next is me, the Cleveland Browns. This is a tough spot, man. Not a tough spot because it's only tough because there's so many options. Um, I'm thinking they could either go Travis Hunter, which is like the best player overall, or is Abdul Carter best player overall. They did sign. They traded for Kenny Pickett. I think they brought back Joe Flacco. I don't see them going quarterback so soon, and I think with everything going on with Shador and all this stuff, I just don't think they go for Shador Sanders. I think they go for Abdul Carter, and I think of this defense with Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett, potentially dominant defensive line. I was hoping Abdul Carter would drop to 6, but I can't see him dropping past 2. So
Yeah, I'm with you, Khalid. I can't see him dropping past like 4 probably. That's like the lowest he goes.
at he's not lasting past Jacksonville, I don't think. But all right,
For sure,
back over
for
to
sure,
you
for sure.
for the New York Giants.
All right, cool. I think if this happens, the New York Giants are ecstatic and they're going Travis Hunter. I don't think they. I know people want them to take quarterback. They want them to go Sanders. I don't think they're in on Sanders. That they're not that high on Sanders. I think you could see a situation where they maybe try to trade back in to the first round and take him later if he falls. But I do think they would love Travis Hunter. They like the versatility, and they have Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, so he can go. He's a kind of a go both ways type of guy. So I don't think cornerback. He's probably going to be an elite cornerback, and hopefully he kind of gives up this two-way kind of way type player thing that he wants to do. Didn't work for Dion. It's not going to work for you, Travis. I'm sorry, man. Just be an elite cornerback. Call it a day. That's where I think Giants are going here.
I hope he plays receiver. I don't know why. Just I mean I know he's trying to do this whole both ways thing, and maybe yeah he'll probably play both ways here and there sparingly. It's not that uncommon. Like other guys have done it. I just when watching him, like this dude is a generational talent at receiver. I mean, he's a great cornerback. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Personal preference is receiver. I
I
thought they would go.
I
I thought you were going to
disagree.
go
I
Shador
disagree
here.
with you on receiver. I disagree with you on
Okay,
receiver
why?
for Travis Hunter.
Tell me why.
Well, I don't like his route running, man. He's not a natural route runner, and he's not like excellent hands either. So I feel like those two things are going to limit him. Yes, athleticism off the charts, explosiveness off the charts. But you watch him run routes, and it's like, are you sure you know how to run this route, bro? Like it's like he's just like he seems like he's just jumping around, like looking at the cornerback and then deciding on a route versus like actually running a route. Or and sometimes a lot of drops for him. So I don't think he's generational at receiver. I think he's generational at cornerback. But anyways, I'll let you go back
Okay.
to making your pick.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. The New England Patriots, I think if they don't get Travis Hunter, I think the obvious pick is one of the offensive linemen, especially one of the offensive tackles. You have a good quarterback. You want to keep him fit. You want to keep him healthy. I think Will Campbell is the pick here. I know people talk about his short arms, but I'm not super obsessed with measurables. Maybe like athletic measurables I care about because a 40 is a 40, and if you're slow, you're slow. But I feel like the long arm stuff or the short arms, he doesn't even have short arms. He has like average length arms. He just doesn't have like monster telescope arms. So I think that whole thing is overrated. So I'm going with Will Campbell.
Yeah, I think he's just his arm length is too short for a left tackle is what it is, right? Like he's just like he's like well below like the 33 and a half or something that like they say is the minimum for a left tackle. So maybe he's not a left tackle, maybe he's a solid guard, we'll see, but he's definitely going to be a good offensive lineman.
Or a right tackle. I mean, it's not
Right tackle.
that bad
Yeah,
of a
sure.
pick.
Right tackle.
I mean,
Yeah,
a tackle. I mean, you want to spend a top five pick on a left tackle, but right tackle's not so bad. But like I said, I
absolutely.
don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm not too worried. All right, over to you for the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick five.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy pick here too, Khaled. It's Mason Graham. He seems like the best defensive tackle in this class. They need defensive tackle. He fills a big hole for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, this dude's the beast. I mean, he's a generational talent, I think, as well. So, Jacksonville gets a great pick, great player at five, and this probably ruins your draft hopes here at number six for the Raiders, Khaled.
Definitely doesn't ruin anything, but I just read this morning that the thing is, you never know what to believe, right? Because this is the smoke screen season. But Adam Schefter this morning, he put an article out where he was saying that everyone thinks Graham is a slam dunk to Jacksonville, but he's like, not so fast. They could be thinking about something else. They could be going for a tackle. They could be going for a receiver, something like that. Maybe they're just trying to blow smoke so they can get some. They can trade down.
I think it.
But
I think it's some smoke, probably for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the pick makes sense. Their defense was awful last year. They need that kind of presence in that defense, and he's the type of player that fits that bill. So number six, I have a ton of choices here. I literally there's like six guys that I think could fit here. Uh, I think in real life the Raiders trade down. We'll see in a couple of days, but uh, I you can't pass up a quarterback, and I think this kid wants to be in Las Vegas. His dad wants him to be in Vegas. I think he has all the intangibles to be an NFL franchise quarterback. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's super accurate. He's tough, all that stuff. I don't think you can pass up Shador Sanders here in our mock draft at least.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Is that then you think Gino's just like 1 or 2 years and then it's Shador time?
I mean, it's basically a 2 year extension is what he signed, and Shador is on the younger side of the prospects. Like the last couple years, every other quarterback has been Jaden Daniels is 24, Bo Nix is 25. Uh, who else came out? I mean, Drake May was on the other side, but all these other dudes. Oh, Michael Penix, he's also like 25. I think Shador is 22, so you get 2 years with Gino. I think it might make things a little uncomfortable for Gino, but it just makes sense from a long term like planning perspective. Obviously, I could see them going with Ashton Genty or Armand Membu if they're like, no, we want to compete right now. We think we have a good enough team to compete now. We just need some pieces, but it's just hard to pass up franchise quarterback because you're hoping you're not picking in the top five or top six or whatever next year, so you won't have a chance to get one of these guys. So if you're here, he drops to you. It's hard to pass up from that perspective for me.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. And I could see the Raiders trading with the Niners too. So.
Yeah, people are saying the Saints, the Niners, one of these other like quarterback needy teams. Uh, but yeah, over to you for the Jets, who are not quarterback needy, but quarterback. I don't know. I mean, they signed Justin Fields, but they could still be looking for a long term plan. So we'll see.
I don't.
Uh, but who you got for the
Yeah.
Jets?
All right. For the Jets, I have Armin Membu. I think I said his name right. Khaled, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they need a tackle. Um, and he seems like a pretty elite tackle. I feel like he might be the best tackle in this entire draft class. I think he's gonna be a like Hall of Famer type offensive tackle, and that may be few in between this draft class. I don't know, but I think he's definitely going to be a long term solution for the Jets.
So you talked about Will Campbell's like his short arms. You think that's a big deal? I know Membu doesn't have the same problem, but he's only 6'3". I mean, we say only, but he's only 6'3". Is that too small for a
Sure, and
left
yeah,
tackle?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I it seems like the NFL values arm length more than they value height per se for an offensive tackle because he's still a big dude, right? Membu's still a big dude. So I think he's got the reach to kind of keep, edge rushers off him. And it's not like you see a lot of big edge rushers anymore. Like they're not big guys. They're a little more nimble, more agile kind of dudes. So you need quicker offensive linemen too. So I think that makes, in my mind, it makes Membu a little bit better of a prospect than Will Campbell. I think Will Campbell is going to be pretty good too. I think he's probably more of an elite guard, like a Quentin Nelson type of elite left guard. I think that's probably his future.
Okay, that's fair. All right, back over to me for the Carolina Panthers. This is a tough one. I was leaning Tet McMillan because I thought, all right, Bryce Young showed a lot last year. He was looking good, last few games of the season. But I think they have some decent weapons out there. I think Xavier Legette is not bad. I forget the name of that tight end, but he came on strong at the end of the year. I think Will Johnson is their big pick here. Struggled defensively, especially in the pass defense. They had one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, like a year removed from having one of the better pass defenses in the NFL. I think just for that reason, I think it just makes sense. I can't see Will Johnson dropping out of the top 10, and I think if he doesn't go 8, then he's probably going to go like 15 because some of the other teams ahead of him don't need a cornerback. So that's my pick here.
Interesting. Are you any concerns with him not having a 40 time to show this year and his injury?
No, I mean 40. I don't want to say 40 times overrated because that's the best way to measure speed, but you can put on game tape and you can say, all right, this guy, he ran as fast as this receiver that ran a 4.3 and he was step for step with him, or he ran down this running back that runs a 4.45, whatever it might be. Like game speed is obviously not the same as track speed, which is it's just an easy way to measure speed because you can with 5 seconds you say this guy's fast, this guy's slow. But I think you can watch the game tape and he's a dominant corner. He's a big dude. He's a willing tackler. All that stuff. I think he makes sense in a lot of teams. I think he would have made sense in Las Vegas. He's one of those guys, the 6 guys that I thought made sense in my pick. I think he could go to the Jets as well. It just anybody in that top 10, I think, or a lot of the teams in the top 10, I think, have a reason to get an elite corner, and I think he is an elite corner.
All right.
Okay. Over to you, the New Orleans Saints. A lot of intrigue around this team.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think this is where the pick gets a little tough because I do think if the Saints don't trade up for Sanders, I think they may want to trade down. I think they definitely want to target a first round quarterback with all this drama around Derek Carr. So I don't know. This is a tough spot. So but I do think too early to take a guy like Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. Like I think those guys are too early. So I'm gonna go for a pick here. Jalen Walker. I feel like he's an edge guy. He's kind of this interesting kind of hybrid pass rusher, can play linebacker. But I do think he could be like a really good player here for the Saints. They need a guy. They need some pass rushing help on defense. They need a guy who can come in and help them on D. So I think Jalen Walker kind of fits that mold, and it's going to be interesting to see what his role exactly is in the NFL. But I do think initially definitely a pass rusher edge guy to start.
Yeah, Adam Schefter today, that same article, he was giving all like his draft intel. He said the Saints are, quote, hot and heavy on Jackson Dart or with Jackson Dart. So, but I think taking him 9 is tough. There's a lot of flaws in that game, in his game. I know people can talk themselves into it. We saw JJ McCarthy go top 10. We saw Bo Nix, like all these dudes that we had, quote, like second round grades on ended up going top 15. So, and quarterback obviously is a premium position. There's only like 3 to 5 guys that you would even draft. So I could see them getting kind of desperate, but I think if like you said, if they don't get Sanders, I think they're more likely to trade down and try to get Dart a little later in the draft. All right, over to me. Pick 10. I can't let this guy slide anymore. The best running back in the country, Heisman runner up, the best running back in this class, which is a crazy running back class. People are talking about this has, five, six Pro Bowlers in it. And every time I do a mock draft, I'm just like amazed that some of the guys, some of the names that are available in like the fourth, fifth round. So I think the Bears, Ashton Genty, makes sense. They need an explosive weapon. DeAndre Swift was okay last year, but he's not a guy that you like hang your hat on and build your franchise around. So I think dynamic duo Caleb and Ashton Genty. I don't think you can pass that up if you're Chicago.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that, Khaled. I that would have been my pick too. So can't pass on Genty here.
No, can't let him drop out of the top 10 for sure. All right, your boys, pick 11. Who you got?
Yeah. Oof. Man, this is tough. I mean, I kind of want to go best player available here and take Ted McMillan, but I don't. Niners are not going to do that. There's no chance they're taking Ted McMillan. Like there's like zero chance here. I do think it's definitely coming down to either an edge guy or a defensive tackle, maybe an offensive tackle. Depends on how high they are on Kelvin Banks Jr. I do like Kelvin Banks Jr. He could be a solid offensive tackle guy, but I do think they're going to be a little bit higher on a defensive tackle that's a little bit further down here on the board. But I do think they like Derek Harmon a lot, just because I feel like I'm not saying this is who he is, but he does give a lot of Donald type vibes. Aaron Donald type
Okay.
vibes. I'm not. I'm
I, I,
not. I'm not
I,
saying he's that. He
no,
gives
I
those
know,
vibes
but
though.
you're not the only one that's saying that. I've seen that people are just like super excited
Yeah.
about this dude, and he's not getting the same hype as
Yeah.
Mason Graham or some of these other guys.
Exactly. So I do think he's probably the second best defensive tackle, and he could be a force in the inside. And I think that's what the Niners need, and that's the way to go here for them.
What do you think about? So you talked about edge. What do you think about Shamar Stewart or Matthew Golden? Sorry, not Matthew Golden. Mike Green. Some of these other guys. Like, I feel like you guys have been looking for somebody opposite of Bosa for I don't know, like 3, 4 years now, and you haven't been. You've been. I think Drake Jackson. You signed Leonard Floyd. All these dudes. Does it matter who's opposite of Nick Bosa?
I don't, not as much, especially if you get a guy like Derek Harmon in the middle, who's going to also eat up some people. So I, I'm not a fan of Stewart. I think he's just underproduced in college by, I mean, he's a freak of nature, but his production is not there. It's like, if you're such a freak, how did you not produce? I'm always weary of those type of guys. Like he screams to
Same,
me
same.
Mario. He screams to me Mario Williams, bro. Like I just like this is Mario Williams. Like this is the guy. Like this is who he is. That's his like that's his comp. He's Mario Williams to me. So I'm gonna stay away from him. Mike Green. Apparently there's some like off field concerns with him. He looks talented, but apparently some off field concerns. But he looks like a talented dude, so I could see them definitely considering Mike Green. But the Niners do tend to stay away from guys who have character concerns coming into the draft. Apparently, they're okay signing guys with character concerns, but I think Reuben Foster really burned them. And so after being burned by Reuben Foster, they're not drafting those type of guys. So I feel like Derek Harmon is probably really high on their draft board.
I got you. All right, before we move to my pick, I need to defend Mario Williams real quick. When we're done, go to his football reference page and you will see he's better than I think people think or people thought,
For
whatever it
sure.
is.
I think because he went one overall, it was just like he's a bust. But he was a serviceable edge rusher. I don't think he was elite. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Shamar is elite. I think he'll be solid, maybe slightly above average pass rusher. Like I think the talent is there. He can do that.
But I'm with you. There's a lot of these guys every year that just blow up the combine, and you're like, I don't know. Do you just look good in shorts or underwear, whatever they wearing at the combine? So I don't know, but I'm with you on that one. All right, my pick, the Dallas Cowboys. So this is I was teetering between when I was doing my practice mocks between Tyler Warren. I think it would be great to give Dak another weapon. They have two tight ends that are okay, they're decent, but not like a dominant force in there. But I think because of all the turnover they've had on the offensive line this year, Tyron Smith retired. The other guy, I forget his name. He was the guard that was elite. He retired. I think because of that, I think they're going to go offensive line. I think Kelvin Banks Jr. makes sense here. I see him as maybe better than I don't know, maybe better than Membu. Some people are saying with the measurables and stuff like that. but we don't need to get into that hype. But I do think Kelvin Banks makes sense here for the Cowboys as they try to rebuild that offensive line.
Yeah, and I think you're thinking Zach Martin. Was that who you're thinking of?
There you
The guy
go.
who retired.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Yeah. I see it. I see it. Called. I think it's either that or the guard out of Alabama. I think Tyler Booker. I think they're definitely looking at linemen here for sure.
Yeah, he's like a top 30 prospect, so he'll be off the board here soon. Maybe even with the next
Hmm.
pick. But you tell me who you got for the Miami Dolphins.
I actually do have Tyler Booker here. I like it, but I have to search
Okay.
him a little bit here. There we go.
All right.
Tyler Booker.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him. He's a good guard. I think Miami Dolphins also need offensive line help. You could have talked me if not Tyler, Will Johnson was here on the board. Um, I don't. Maybe they want to take Tyler Warren. Maybe Jonas Smith had a great year, but maybe Tyler Warren is the future tight end here. But Miami, I don't know, seems to have bad luck with tight ends. So maybe they will consider Tyler Warren. I could see that happening as well. Don't think they're going wide receiver, and maybe they're looking at a cornerback like Jahadi Barron or someone like that as well. But I think offensive
Yeah,
line,
I can
you
see
can
that too.
solidify that. I mean, the amount of hits Tua has taken, they need offensive line help.
Yeah. I think Barron makes sense here too, especially if they lose Jalen Ramsey, who it looks like he'll be gone probably before the end of the draft too. He's trying to leave. Could you scroll down a little bit just so I could see the other picks that are coming up? There you go. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so back over to me, the Indianapolis Colts. There's been a lot of smoke to this fire. They obviously need a tight end. It's listed right there. One of their team needs. They need a quarterback, possibly with Anthony Richardson stinking up the joint, but maybe they give him one last year. I forget they signed someone else this year. I should have looked it up to see who's going to come in and push Anthony
Daniel
Richardson, but
Jones. Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, thank you, who is kind of a slightly better version of Anthony Richardson. Maybe not as athletic, but a little bit better of a quarterback, which is not saying much. But he'll probably be starting by like week 6 or week 1 if he wins the job outright. But I think Tyler Warren makes sense here. This guy is a freak. He tore up the college football playoff. He was a lot of fun to watch. He's not quite Gronk. He's not quite Dallas Clark. He's kind of like in the middle. He's really athletic though, and I think after Brock Bowers, the season he had last year, I think they're thinking, okay, we can bring in a tight end that's like pro ready and really tear it up. And I think Tyler Warren's is the one. And I always like tight ends in college that wear numbers in the 40s. I don't know why it's a thing.
Yeah, I like Warren. He's gonna be good. I think Brock Bowers is like a pretty solid comp for him. But Brock Bowers is
Yeah,
like
there you go.
amazing. So yeah,
Yeah, he's not Brock. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
but
his
like
success
that's
last
like
year.
where yeah, that's where he's gonna be for sure in his rookie year.
Yeah, that's the benchmark that they're hoping for. Yeah, over to you for the Atlanta Falcons. This is another interesting team here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Atlanta has quite a few needs: back, tackle, edge, safety. I do think they're gonna love Stewart's athleticism and they're gonna solidify the edge there. Atlanta, Atlanta seems to love athletic edge guys. Sometimes that doesn't work out too well for them, but hopefully Shamar Stewart.
Usually it
So,
doesn't.
it usually doesn't. So I think this is what they're going to do, and they're gonna be like, "Oh crap, maybe we made a mistake." But I think Stewart is just talented enough to be a pretty solid edge rush dude. So I think this is a good pick here for them.
Yeah, it's like he could be Vic Beasley, but I just think of Atlanta. They play in the dome. He's a crazy athlete. They play a lot of games indoors or in good weather. He's gonna be faster even than he is, on tape on turf. So yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like this guy he just feels like an Atlanta Falcon. I don't know why, but I'm on that same page as you. All right, the Arizona Cardinals. I thought they were gonna go Shamar Stewart because I think he makes sense here too, but this is a tough one, man. You took I was really leaning towards Shamar Stewart for him. Let's see. I froze up here a little bit. I think Michael Williams makes sense here.
Okay.
He's another Georgia edge guy. You just can't go wrong. It seems like with Georgia defensive linemen. After Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, all these dudes, they just come into the NFL and they produce. I know most of these guys are on the Eagles, but you just can't go wrong picking a Georgia defensive lineman or linebacker. So yeah, Michael Williams.
I see it. I see it. They probably like him too. lot of rumor about him even to the Niners. So I think it's a guy that intrigues a lot of teams for sure.
All right, over to you for the Bengals team with no defense.
Um, with no defense, yeah. I mean, if the Bengals don't spend every pick on defense, I'm gonna be concerned for them. Um, they basically have to pick every single defensive player they could. I do think they're. This is a tough choice. I do think they're gonna like Mike Green a lot. And they need an edge guy. Maybe if they're trading Trey Hendrickson, I don't know if they're trading him. They might be. I do think they need a corner. They do need a defensive tackle. So I think I'm leaning Mike Green here. Actually, I think I'm gonna give him Mike Green. Just helps them add another guy to the defense. I think they'll definitely target defensive tackle, cornerback in the later rounds for sure too. But getting a good edge rusher like Mike Green, and I don't think Bengals have any issues with his character concerns, so I think
No.
he'll be pretty high on their board. No character concerns for the Bengals.
As you're talking, exactly. I'm like, they have no issues picking guys. They picked Pac-Man Jones, Vontez Burfict. The list goes on and on. There's a Corey Dillon, I think had. I mean, this is a long. We're taking it way back, but yeah, they have no issues picking guys that have some character concerns. All right, over to me. The Seahawks. I thought they were going to draft Tyler Booker. I thought that he'd be on the board a little bit longer, but I think that they just need offensive line. Paid Sam Darnold a lot of money, and he needs to be protected or not. He's just going to throw. If he's not, he's going to throw a ton of interceptions. So I think Josh Simmons here makes sense for them. I know they have some two young tackles, but I think Josh Simmons can also play guard. But you're going to load up on as many talented offensive linemen as you can get, and I think it just makes sense here.
Yeah, good pick. I think Josh Simmons, if he wasn't hurt, could have been, in the conversation for like one of the top tackles in this class. So getting him at 18s might be a steal.
For sure. I think he tore his ACL early on
Yeah,
in the
he's coming
season,
off
something
some.
like that.
Yeah, he's coming off some nagging injury like that. Yep.
All right, over to you, Tampa Bay. We're getting down to the top 10 here, or bottom 10.
Bottom 10 here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Tampa Bay. I mean, they it seems like they have a need for a cornerback and safety edge. They need some defense. It seems like all their needs are on the defensive side. I do think they have some offensive needs too, but I think they're gonna like Jahadi Barron here, so I think I'm gonna pick him here for the Bucks. Makes a lot of sense, solidifies their defensive backfield, and I think it does really set them up for having a solid starting quarterback here in the NFL.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, they had a terrible pass defense last year, so this makes sense. Uh, Over to me, the Denver Broncos. A lot of people have them taking Colston Loveland. They say, oh, he's a Sean Payton type tight end. But I think just the way our mock draft has played out, I don't think you can let Tet McMillan drop any further than this, uh, especially with some of the receivers that they had out there last year. I think Orlando Franklin, he's a nice speed receiver. Forgetting the other guy's name, the bigger wide receiver. Shit, why can't I remember his
Sutton,
name?
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. Thank you. I'm in
I
totally
got you, bro. I
basketball
got you good.
brain right now. Yeah, you're on the right track here. Yeah, I think you saw a lot of good things out of Bo Nix last year, and you're like, all right, let's give this guy a legitimate red zone deep threat weapon that can be dominant or terrible depending on who you ask. So I think he's one of the more decisive or divisive guys in the draft. I'd be curious to think. I mean, you obviously let him drop to 20, but what do you think about this guy? You think he's worthy of a top 10 pick if someone grabs him?
I I think so. It just depends on the team, right? Like I thought a lot of the teams in the top 10, like if I was to slot him in the top 10, I think Panthers make the most sense for him. I do think he's talented enough. He is Drake London to me. So he's talented. He can perform. I think that's like that's my comp for him is Drake London, but I do see a lot of people are like, "No, he's more Michael Pittman Jr. Maybe he's not like, like people like try to like diminish him a bit. I don't know why. It's like
Hmm.
he's dude's 6'4". I see him as somewhere like as like a Mike Evans type receiver,
Yeah,
Drake
I was gonna
London
say
type
Mike
receiver.
Evans.
Like that's like I think that's his that those are better comps for him than like a Michael Pittman Jr. So I do think he can perform, and the Broncos getting him at 20 is just I think manufactured by team needs and like other better available like players on the defensive side. And I think teams are valuing the defense more probably in this first round than And it's a deep wide receiver class. Like I think you can get some steals here in the second and third round. So maybe teams are like, you know what, I'll punt this for later.
Yeah, last year was a offense heavy draft. I think the first defensive player was Latu at 15, or was it some not Latu, sorry, it was another guy, but
No, I think
yeah,
you're
I
right.
think the
I think you're
first
right. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, the first defensive player was in the teens, which is kind of crazy. So maybe this is the pendulum swinging the other way. Uh, Speaking of defense, the Steelers pick 21. Who you got?
Oh, man, like I don't know what the Steelers are doing at quarterback. Like Mason Rudolph, I think is like back there and he's starting with them. Is that who their starting quarterback is right now? Mason Rudolph?
For now, I think eventually it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. There's still a lot of time. It's April. There's still, four months left till the start of the season, or even like the start of training camp and preseason. He just likes to drag the shit out. You know how it is with Rodgers. He
Yeah,
likes to be
he's
the
yeah. He's basically like on that Brett Favre trajectory, right? Like I think he really wanted to be on the Vikings for some reason. Like that's what you kept hearing was like he wants to be on the Vikings. I'm like what is wrong with
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers? He just like
He made a pitch to them, was like, I'm going to come play for 1 year. You guys have a championship level roster, which we saw last year. They were 13-3 or whatever it is, and now he was like, I'll come in. I'll be a mentor to JJ. Maybe they're like, we don't we don't want you to
like
mentor
bro,
JJ. You can
don't
keep
mentor
your
him. Don't mentor JJ, bro.
exactly right. Yeah, keep your weirdo vibes away from him. And they basically passed, and I think they're just like, all right, we'll just go with JJ. Pittsburgh just makes the most sense. Like I cannot see them going into. I mean, people are talking about Sanders here. I don't think he's going to last this long. We've seen quarterbacks drop, but um, maybe Jalen Milroe. Maybe they're like because he's invited to the first round. But I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
steal your thunder, but
So is Dart. So
I
is
don't know.
Dart, right?
Yeah. So I could see it going either way. I just Mason Rudolph, he's fine as a backup. I just can't see them going into the season with saying, "Hey guys, come buy tickets, renew your season tickets, come, sit in the freezing ass cold to watch Mason Rudolph again."
Throw, yeah.
So I can't see that.
Throw
Yeah.
slant passes to DK Metcalf
Yeah, and then
because
get beat
Mason
up on the
Rudolph can't throw
sidelines
bombs.
by
Yeah.
yeah, and then get beat up by George Pickens on the sideline because he's crazy and he keeps overthrowing him. Yeah, it's I don't think that's happening. So,
Yeah.
all
For
right,
those
who you
reasons,
got?
call it. I'm going Jackson Dart. I'm going Jackson Dart. I think they do it.
Okay.
If they stay at this pick, they don't trade up. I do think they like Jackson Dart enough. I think they're comfortable with either Jackson Dart or like a Milrow here at 21, where they're like, this dude could sit for a year. We're pretty confident Aaron Rodgers is going to be in tow. So I think the theory is Aaron Rodgers for a year, and then we hand it off the reins here to someone like a Dart or a Milrow. But I think they probably like Dart a little bit better, and it seems like a lot of NFL teams do like Dart a lot better. I mean, I've heard people say they like him better than Sanders. I think that's smoke. The guys saying that are just on smoke. They're just trying to send out smoke signals here. But I do think Dart makes a lot of sense, and at least like worst case, even if Rodgers doesn't come back, at least Dart can maybe somewhat compete with Mason Rudolph for the starting job.
Yeah, Dart has a lot of like chaotic energy that I like, but I don't know if you want that. But again, if you can kind of harness that, give him a year, like you said, to sit under Rodgers, and it makes sense. But I think week one, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform. It just makes sense. All right, for me, the Los Angeles Chargers, they had an incredible defense last year. I did not see that coming. They brought back Khalil Mack. They lost Joey Bosa, who doesn't play that much anyway. But I think the obvious pick here, maybe not that obvious, but I think they're going to go defensive tackle. I think that's the Jim Harbaugh style. We're going to build from the trenches. They drafted Joe Alt last year, who worked out pretty well. Could see them maybe going Matthew Golden, but they hit with Lad McConkey. Quentin Johnson wasn't terrible at the end of last year. He kind of caught on a little bit. So maybe, like you said, there's a deep receiver class, so I could see them going elsewhere. But I think Walter Nolan from Ole Miss makes sense here to just keep that defense first mindset going.
Yeah, I can totally see Jim Harbaugh doing that. That's his mo. He's gonna do it. He's gonna go defensive guy in first round. I think he's not gonna waste draft picks on a tight end and running back or anything like that. So yeah, I like Nolan here. I thought Nolan could have been the pick for the Niners at 11 too. Like he has such a wide range. Like some people are like all in on him. Some people are like, he's maybe not as good. But personally, I do like Derek Harmon more than Nolan, so that's why I went.
You compared him to Aaron Donald, so I'm sure you like him
I
better
said, yeah,
than
I said
the one.
shades. I said shades. I said shades.
Yeah.
I didn't say he's all the way there. Don't put that on me, Khaled. I didn't say he's Aaron Donald.
All right. Yeah. This will be fun when we do our rookie grades. We still got to do the rookie grades for last year, but we'll get to it.
Yeah,
It's a
for
long
sure.
long off
We'll get to
season.
it. Yes.
Uh, all right. Over to you for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh man, this is a tough one. Um, they clearly need a wide receiver one, and I think they they may not like the wide receivers left here on the board. I don't think they're Matthew Golden is a wide receiver one. He's a he's a slot guy, more like a wide receiver two to me. But if you have a need for a slot guy, I think you take him. Green Bay does not. They got two kind of slot guys in Dobbs and what's his name, Jaden Reed. So like, I think Matthew Golden's just duplicative of that. So I don't think they're going this way. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Emeka Egg. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Egbuka.
I think it's just Ibuka. I think the G is silent.
Ebuka. Okay. Okay. Ebuka. See, I was close. I was very close. I like him. I like Ebuka. I think he's gonna be. I think this pick for me came to between him and Burden. But I do like Abuka's ability to kind of be that dominant possession type wide receiver for Green Bay, and I think that's just gonna help Jordan Love progress and grow. And that's they need a playmaker, another playmaker like what's his face, man? What's Christian Watson? He's not it. He's not it. He's always hurt. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. And
he's
Dobbs
got the
and Reed
talent.
are
He's just
yeah, he's just hurt. And Dobbs and Reed are just, I think they're not wide receiver ones. They're wide receiver twos and threes, and they can make plays for you, but they're never going to be guys that you like. This is the guy I'm targeting every play if I can.
yeah. They're not. Excuse me. They're not winning matchups every week. I think is what we're saying. I again in my practice mocks I had Ibuka going to the Rams. All right. Next for me, the Minnesota Vikings pick 24. This is a weird team where you're like, I don't know where they're going to pick up after Sam Darnold. Is JJ McCarthy going to be the guy? But I think they have a need at safety. I think Harrison Smith is great, but he's getting pretty old. He's coming back. But again, yeah, he's just an older guy. Have you looked at Nick Imanwari? Have you seen like his measurables and all this stuff? Because I mean, that's my pick, but this dude is a monster.
He's fast, right? He's like blazing fast or something like that, right?
He's 6'3", 220, and he runs like in the low fours or four fours.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
freak.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody falls in love with him and picks him in the top 15. But yeah, he's my pick here. I just everything about him is just crazy to look at. Again, I'm not trying to get too caught up in the measurables. There you go, 6'3", 220. If you click on him again, that RAS number is I believe it's relative athletic score. So the scale is 10, just so you know. So this dude broke the scale again. I know it's not a track competition where athleticism is the only thing that matters, but we've seen guys like that. Every time people talk about workout warriors, I think of Vernon Davis and how he completely destroyed the combine. People were like, oh, he didn't put up huge numbers at Maryland. I'm like, yeah, but who's his quarterback? Like let's take a step back. And he comes in and he's an incredible tight end for the Niners. So yeah, that's my pick, Nick Imanwari for the Vikings.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I think a team that needs a safety should definitely jump on him. He seems like a beast. Um,
Yeah, and I mean
yeah,
Malachi
I like
Starks,
it.
I saw him going top 10 in some of their mocks. I think to the Saints was a popular team, so I mean I wouldn't be surprised if they pick him as well. But yeah, over to you for the Texans.
All right. I think, Texans need offensive line help for sure after like I don't know, they traded like half their offensive line in the offseason. um I I want to make the pick here on offensive line for them, but there are some intriguing guys like Matthew Golden on the board here, Jihad Campbell here. There's James Pierce Jr. on the edge, but I do think they need to protect CJ Stroud, so I'm gonna go Gray Zabel, who's a guard. He's gonna probably plug in at left guard for them. I think he's probably one of the better guards here on the board. Him and Tyler Booker are probably like two first round prospects here. So I do think he's a good plug and play guy for the Texans. He comes in, starts right away for them. So that's my pick.
Yeah, these like North Dakota State or South Dakota State, all these Dakota State linemen, they just keep producing these great linemen. I mean, a lot of big dudes up there, so it makes sense. All right, over to me for the LA Rams. You took my pick. I was gonna go with Ibuka because I think he's a dominant receiver, but I do think you can't let Matthew Golden drop any further. They lost not Puka, sorry, they lost Cooper Cup, who operated a lot out of the slot. So I think Matthew Golden is a nice, easy like for like replacement where he can operate outside, but also can just kill it from the slot. So I wouldn't let him drop any further than this.
Yeah, it's a good pick. We probably have him way lower than he's probably going, but that's fine. We gotta let receivers drop here in this draft.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think just a lot of other dominant defensive talent, like you said. So I think it's just like positional need and all that stuff just happens to. That's why Ted McMillan went 20 instead of 10, like some people say. Uh, all right, pick 27, the Baltimore Ravens. Over to you.
Okay. Ooh, I mean, I'm hearing things about the Ravens possibly moving on from Mark Andrews. Um, like
Okay,
there's
after the
rumors
drop.
about that. That's I don't know. Like there's rumors about that. I don't know if like that's the reason because he dropped the ball in the playoffs. Um, I don't think they will, and they have Isaiah Likely, so I'm not gonna go Colston Loveland here. I will take care of one of the other needs in safety, and I will go Malachi Starks. Seems like they do need another guy to pair with Kyle Hamilton there in the backfield. So I think he'll be a good 1-2 punch there, and just shores up their defensive backfield.
I like it. I like it. All right, over to me for the Detroit Lions. This team just got completely decimated by injury on defense. So you could probably just say every defensive player is a possibility for them. But I think you just can't pass up on James Pierce Jr. here. This guy is sick. Another dude that's like an athletic freak, and I think him and why am I so bad with names today? Uh, the
Aiden
defensive end that
Hutchinson.
broke his leg. Aiden
Aiden
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
Thank you. There you go. I should have done like a quick read of all the rosters in the NFL. I did for some of them, but yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, who's sick but broke his leg, so he wasn't able to come back last year. I think those two guys pairing them together, I think just makes sense. And there's still a lot of value here. So there's again like 4 or 5 names he could have picked here and been okay. All right, over to you, the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, ooh, they got some needs here too. I think I was thinking Loveland here, but I'm actually gonna go Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky, cornerback. Um, this
Oh,
dude is a
deep cut.
burner. He's a burner. Is deep? Did you say deep cut?
Yeah, I just said you went deep. I like it.
Yeah. He's a burner, man, and I think he ran the fastest 40-yard dash in the NFL. He's let's pull up his measurables here. He's not like super small. He's 5'11", 183. He might be as athletically gifted as Travis Hunter is what it looks like. Like he's so athletically well built, and he has natural cornerback instincts. Like I think he might be one of the steals of this draft, and I think this PFN simulator might have him a little bit too low. I do think he's going to be a first round pick for sure, and Washington needs a cornerback, so I think it's a good pick for them.
There's that other cornerback. I think Lavelle is his last name. Yeah, Revell. Sorry, there you
Yeah,
go. Number
Revel.
36
Yep.
overall. He's another guy that probably could go, in the first round. Some people said even to the Raiders. Maybe that's a little crazy, but he's
Well,
just like that.
that's
That
insane.
yeah, like long, lean type corner. I think he has some character issues. I don't want to slander his name by on accident, but uh, yeah, uh, deep cut. I like it. All right. Number 30, the Buffalo Bills. I think it's an easy pick. People were talking about linebacker. Mike Milano's been in and out of the lineup. He hasn't been durable. Either go Jihad Campbell or Carson Schwessinger, I think is how you say his last name. Hopefully that's right. I think Jihad Campbell, you just obvious picks, pick him, put him in the middle of that defense. And I think just the way that like running backs have become more popular now, more in vogue, I think middle linebacker, the same thing is going to happen just because you got to have a great middle linebacker if you want to shut down a great running back. So
Yeah,
there you go.
100%. 100%. Love that pick, Holland.
Are you going Colston Loveland here for the Chiefs? Little Travis Kelsey,
Uh-oh.
what is it called? Replacement in a couple
Replacement?
years.
Yeah. I think this might be Travis Kelsey's last year. That's what I'm
I
thinking.
hope so. I hope
I think
so.
he's gonna
I'm
retire. I think he's
praying.
gonna
I'm
retire.
praying.
Yeah, and then he'll go on tour with Taylor Swift. That's what he's gonna do. Yeah, I'm
I
going
think
Colson
if they
Loveland.
won, I think if they okay, yeah, I figure I don't want to steal your thunder, my bad. But I feel like if they won, he probably would have retired. Been like, all right,
Oh yeah, for sure. I
we're
agree.
done.
If they had won the Super Bowl, he was tired. Yeah, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah,
Um,
three-peat is over. I'm
yeah,
37, 36, 37 years old, whatever. I think, yeah, that makes sense. All
yeah, for
right.
sure.
Last pick here, the first round, Omari and Hampton. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, I was waiting for the joke to land. Uh, the Eagles, I'm seeing like weird things, man. I'm seeing that they're supposedly gonna trade Devontae Smith for Jalen Ramsey, which I think would be crazy. They're like 10 years apart. Devontae Smith is he's like a number 1.5. He's not quite a two. I don't think he's a one either. I think they don't really need defensive line, but they kind of do because but that's just how they do it. They just play a ton of defensive linemen. I think they're going to go with edge again. Nick Scarton is my pick there. Nothing. I don't think anything crazy, dramatic is going to happen there. But I think he is the last pick there.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see that, Khaled. So here's our draft board now. After picking the entire first round here, I think we did pretty decent last year. I think we were pretty spot on, right? For like we hit like 4 out of the top 5 last
Got
year.
like
Pretty.
I think we got most of the top 10 right until Atlanta picked Michael Penix and they threw us
Yes,
off. I think we had
that was.
Atlanta taking the defensive end from Alabama. I'm surprised I don't even remember that. I don't even remember his name, but I think we had them taking him in the top 10. Uh, I'm jet lagged, man. I'm all over the
It's
place
all
with
good.
my
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
the name.
It's all
You
good.
got me. That's why you're my fellow host. Uh, so that's our picks, or that's our first round mock. We'll be posting it, as soon as possible. Posting some of the graphics on social media as well. Let us know what you guys think in the comments and everywhere else. And we appreciate you. Appreciate you, man.
Peace.